nashira, hava nashira, let us sing. Hava nashira, hava nashira, hava nashira, let us sing. Come let us sing, come let us sing, come let us sing, hava nashira. Come let us sing, come let us sing, come let us sing, hava nashira, hava nashira, hava nashira, hava nashira, let us sing, hava nashira, hava nashira, hava nashira, let us sing.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so lovely to start the service by hearing you, Zoe and Jordan, and of course, our awesome cantor, Alan, to welcome in Shabbat. And it was such a wonderful experience being at Camp Newman. I know there's a few people who are on right now who have the experience of being at Camp Newman this year or having other wonderful summer experiences. But I've got to say that I really missed all of you, and it is such a delight to be with you to welcome in Shabbat. Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, "Refreshed and renewed, attired in festive garments, with candles nodding dreamily to unutterable expectations, to intuitions of eternity, some of us are overcome with a feeling as if almost all they would say would be like a veil. There is not enough grandeur in our souls to be able to unravel in words the knot of time and eternity. There is a song in the wind and joy in the trees. The Sabbath arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. Where are the words that could compete with such might?" We prepare to light our Shabbat candles, and I invite everyone who has some candles handy to please join with me to do this. Lighting the Shabbat candles, as these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in turn, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen. We continue our welcome to Shabbat as we bless this cup overflowing with joy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim, and as we turn to go into our songs of Hine Matov, of being here together, I invite everyone to sing along and also to write messages of just welcome to one another, to old friends and to new ones.
Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this lovely day. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this lovely day. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצור ישנו. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצור ישנו. נקדמה פניו בתודה, בזמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצור ישנו. כי אל גדול אדוני, ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצור ישנו. La 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 לך דודי, la 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 לקראת כלה, la 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 פני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לה לה לך דודי, יאללה לה לה לקראת קלה, יאללה לה לה פני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לה לה לך דודי, יאללה לה לה לקראת קלה, יאללה לה לה פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. יאללה לה לה לך דודי, יאללה לה לה לקראת קלה, יאללה לה לה פני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לה לה לך דודי, יאללה לה לה לקראת קלה, יאללה לה לה פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. יאללה לה לה לך דודי, יאללה לה לה לקראת קלה, יאללה לה לה פני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לה לה לך דודי, יאללה לה לה לקראת קלה, יאללה לה לה פני שבת נקבלה.
Our sages teach that there are 3 ways of connecting to holiness: up toward God, outward towards one another, and inward toward ourselves. And whatever direction we go in, we are all going to the same end. We call ourselves to prayer. We call one another to prayer, the Baruch Hu. And if you feel comfortable, I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai. בדברו מעריב ערבים בחוכמה פותח שערים. God of creation, who makes the evening fall from light into darkness with the setting of the sun. You unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars and wrap our souls with peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher midbaro mariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim.
Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Israel. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we always feel your love. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, who loves your people, Israel.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam Va'ed. And you shall love Adonai with all your soul and all your might. Teach these words both day and night to all your children, for it's their right. And wear them proudly as a sign upon your hand, and as a sign above your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates throughout all time. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Adonai uncharted shores of history. We still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land, and the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no easy way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together and singing ya la 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 ya la 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 la, singing ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Moshe uMiriam uVnei Yisrael lecha anu shira besimcha rabba ve'ameru chulam ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. One more time. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la, singing ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ba'elim, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi kamocha nedar, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele, malchutcha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam livnei Moshe, ze Eli, ze Eli, ze Eli, anu ve'ameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha ba'elim, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh.
watching all of your mouths move. I could just hear everyone's voices, and it is such a beautiful, beautiful thing to behold. I know that tonight with services, we had hoped to have a hybrid service or a multi-access service where some of us would be in person and some of us would be right here on Zoom. And we ended up making this decision to keep it all on Zoom in order to take care of one another, in order to try to create a safe environment in which all of us could be COVID-free or work toward that goal. And when I think of the Hashkivenu prayer, this prayer that's all about God looking out for us, I think about moments like the ones where we have to make tough decisions that aren't easy ones, but that we do in order to protect the greater community, in order to protect everyone who we love. And so we sing our Hashkivenu, let there be love and understanding among us.
And understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Ve'ha'amidenu, Shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu, Sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam brit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam brit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael od hi le'olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinavash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam brit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat.
as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you. We move into the words of the Amidah, and you'll notice that all of these slides that we have, and I know Cantor Lam was also playing with them last week as well, that we have these new slides. It's visual tefillah put together by CCAR. And the reason that we switched over to using some of these slides is just to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit easier for everyone to read. And we'd love to hear your feedback in it. But there's another plus as well, which is it has the page numbers of all of the prayers that we are doing. And so we're not going to be putting on the screen every one of the prayers in the Amidah, but since you have the page numbers before you, if in your silent prayer you wish to go back to the book, it makes it a little bit easier to do so. So I invite you to do that, to pray from your own prayer book or from the screen, whatever feels most comfortable to you.
Adonai svatai tiftach, Adonai svatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai svatai tiftach, Adonai svatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Lamecha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Lamecha Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. 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 Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim le'olam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל. 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 בכל עת ובכל שעה, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael. Hamevarech et amo Yisrael.
There we go. So I want to talk a little bit about this week's Torah portion. Among the many, many laws in the Torah, laws about how we treat one another, laws about our justice system, laws about so many different things, this Torah portion chooses to underline rules regarding sheep, donkey, and oxen. The Torah reads, if you see your fellow's ox or sheep gone astray, do not ignore it. You must take it back to your fellow. If your fellow does not live near you or you do not know who he is, you shall bring it home, and it shall remain with you until your fellow claims it. And then you shall give it back to him. You shall do the same with his donkey. You shall do the same with his garment. You shall do the same with anything that your fellow loses and that you find. You must not remain indifferent. If you see your fellow's donkey or ox fallen on the road, do not ignore it. You must help him raise it. Many of the teachings in this piece of Torah appear elsewhere within our text. within the 5 books. The rabbis, believing that no word in our holy Torah is extraneous, begin to ponder why we need this reminder toward the conclusion of Moses' monologue to the Jewish people. They conclude that it is exceedingly important for these laws to be repeated, not because we will always be an agrarian society, clearly all Jews aren't, but because there will always be a human being in need of our help. I've taught this text many times over the years, and the first response to it is always an acknowledgement that yes, of course we have a responsibility to help others when we can. But as we explore the text more deeply, we are forced to grapple with the human question. How far are we able and willing to go to help another person? Moses begins by reminding us not to ignore a situation that is in front of us. If we see a fellow's ox or sheep, we should return it. We should return a lost donkey or a garment or anything that another person loses. If an animal falls on the road, we should help the owner to take care of it. These seem like simple, easy actions, but the text doesn't end there. The Torah teaches, if your fellow does not live near you, or if you do not know who he is, you should bring it home, and it shall remain with you until the owner claims it. It commands us to go out of our way, to put ourselves in a severe inconvenience in caring for another person's creatures until they can be returned. Elsewhere, the Torah teaches that we are to look after a fellow's animal, even if the owner is our very enemy. Even if taking in these animals change our lifestyles, even if we really, really don't want to, our obligation to one another means that we must. Musar teacher Alan Marinas explains, giving in the way of chesed, or a way of love, as this text asks us to do, requires that we go beyond the boundaries that are familiar and comfortable to us. We have to stretch into chesed, into love, or else it isn't chesed. I once heard Rabbi Abraham Yachnis clarify the extent of the stretch that is necessary to have an action qualify as chesed. He said that if you are walking down the street and someone is walking beside you carrying a large box and you offer to help the person carry the box, that's not chesed. You'd simply be a terrible person not to help someone in that situation. What counts as chesed is when you are walking the opposite way from someone carrying a burden and you turn around to help carry the load in the direction that that person is going. That is chesed. So, how far out of the way are we willing to go for one another? The Talmud understands that there must be limits to our generosity. No one should put themselves physically in danger to catch a lost animal, it explains. No one should give to the point that their own well-being is threatened. Your oxygen mask goes on first, and so on. The rabbis also understand that we may at times be able to help, although we are hesitant to, for understandable reasons. One of these reasons has become readily apparent to me this week as I watched the news about Haitians struggling in the aftermath of a very severe earthquake, and the people of Afghanistan desperately seeking a way out from under Taliban rule. Sometimes the problems of the world feel too enormous, too overwhelming to know how to respond. Judaism teaches about something called the Yetzer Hara inside of us, that small voice that pulls us away from our higher spiritual self, that tells us to look the other way. This isn't my problem, or someone else can help. That voice that shuts us down or weighs us down, that imprisons us in a feeling of uncertainty or helplessness in the face of yet another trauma, yet another need. That voice which comes up with excuses, that voice which tells us that we can't possibly make a difference, so we shouldn't even try. At his Nobel Prize acceptance speech, Elie Wiesel famously explained why fighting against injustice was so important to him. I have tried to keep memory alive, that I have tried to fight those who would forget. Because if we forget, we are guilty, we are accomplices. And then I explained to him how naive we were, that the world did know and remained silent. And that is why I swore never to be silent whenever another human beings endure suffering and humiliation. We must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. When human lives are endangered, when human dignity is in jeopardy, national borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. Whenever men or women are persecuted because of their race, religion, or political views, that place must, at that moment, become the center of the universe. We know how painful the silence of friends can be. So we have an obligation to respond to the ills of our world. Whether an enemy or a friend, a fellow member of the larger Jewish community or a stranger halfway across the world, our Torah implores us to help however we can. That might mean making donations to people who are on the ground in Haiti or in Afghanistan. That might mean calling representatives and senators to encourage legislation, or signing up to greet refugees at the airport. That might mean raising awareness and speaking out, reaching out to friends who are affected. However we respond, the Torah is clear on 2 points. One is that we must respond. The second is that our actions matter. Rabbi Tarfon taught, it is not up to you to complete the task, but neither are you free to desist from it. Whenever we hear that still small voice, that other small voice inside of us, telling us that we can't make a difference, our tradition tells us, no, that is wrong. What does God ask of you? Our prophet Micah said, that you do justice, love chesed, and walk humbly with your God. When the world's ills feel too weighty, don't let them bog you down. One act of love leads to another and another and another, until collectively we do make a difference. Silence of friends is deafening, but the loving actions of strangers is perhaps the sweetest music that can be heard. And so it feels fitting right now to turn our prayers to the Mishaberach, a prayer of healing for people in our worlds, for people in our hearts, for people in our community. And so I want to invite everyone here to write into the chat anyone for whom we are offering our healing prayer this evening. And I love these texts. Some of them are just to me, some of them are to the community, about the beautiful, beautiful acts of kindness that people have offered to themselves and others within the community, or the healing that's needed among all of us. And so I encourage those conversations to continue later when we go into our breakout rooms. For our healing prayer, Judy Frankel, everyone who is listed on the email list, the family of Mike Smith, Terry Desmond, Martha Calderon, Steve Janassi, Patricia Smith, David Greenstein, Rabbi Karen Strock, Matthew Shahan, sorry, my computer screen is going crazy, there we go. Jill Harper, Michelle Sugarman, Leah Elena Bat Esther, Karen Lavoy, Sunny Felberg, Cassie Felberg, Susan Felberg, Josh Montgomery, Sherry Berlin, Brian Tilley, Ron Rudolph, Steve Skoll, Josie Gianetto, Steve Gill, Jennifer Hamburg-Roski, Chris Mormon, Baby Charlotte, Jane Fine, Brad Picard, Barbara Finkelstein, Batya, Mickey, and Par Courtney, Daniel Emmett, Pam Moore, and Marty Spiegel, Erwin Scher, Donnie Platts, and all the women and children of Afghanistan, David McNaughty, and families in the border looking for safety. Sarah Simpson and Joanne Pease, Tori Sachs, and Wendy Lupel. All of these people in our hearts, all the people whose names have been said out loud, all the people whose names are silently in our hearts, we offer this prayer for each of you.
Sheberach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu yevarech v'yirafeh et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Mi sheberach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu yevarech v'yirafeh et hacholim. In the words of Moshe Rabbeinu we pray, Elna refana, Elna refana, lagad please heal them, Elna refana, Elna refana, Mi sheberach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu yevarech v'yirafeh et hacholim. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei hacholim. And we are reminded not only by Rabbi's wonderful teaching tonight, but by the words of Aleinu at the end of our service, that it's up to us, it is upon us to call ourselves to task and to do the work that is necessary in this world. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the good of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu leshabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu leshabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu leshabeach. It's time to live our praise. V'anachnu koreim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz
The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades. Its substance is consumed and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair. For we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. We offer the words of the mourner's Kaddish for people who have died this time in years past. Minnie Arst and Alan Benstein, Norman Blatt, Zipporah Bleitrach, Ben Cohen, Kitty Cohn, Joe Davis, Maurice Feigenbaum, Ida Fishman, Lee Fishman, Annie Friedman, Gary Goldberg, Estelle Griesdorf, Boris Grove, Anne Gubner, Rachel Haste, Harry Hirschman, Edward Hurwitz, Giorgio Igdal, Gregorio Igdal, Sergio Igdal, Josephine Imhoff, Alex Itkovich, Arthur Joseph Jacobson, Julius Kaplan, Rudolph Kaplan, Larry Kaufman, Beverly Lee Levy, Rose Maher, Dr. Irving Mishkin, Lee Rasmussen, Roland Rister, Fanny Rogoff, Sadie Rubenfeld, Henry Sirad, Helena Suzanov, David Stein, Alan Subak, Simon Weinberg. In memory of all of these people, and I invite you to write in the chat anyone else for whom we are offering this prayer of mourning. Let us to green scene. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divrach Urtei Ve'amlich Malchutei, B'chayachon U'vyomachon, U'v'chayei Dekol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala U'vizman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivrach Le'olam Olamei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shemei Dekudashah B'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechlamata, damiram ve'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And I want to thank so much Zoe and Jordan for bringing such beautiful music to our service tonight, and to Marvin for being a phenomenal Zoom greeter this evening, and also for Riva, who is here on behalf of the board to make some announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. It is my pleasure to be here tonight representing the Temple Bethel Board of Directors. I'd like to share a few upcoming announcements with you. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., please join Cantor Elon and Pam Tarlow, our meditation facilitator, for a spiritual journey through the Shabbat morning service, which includes chants and guided meditation. Then tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., please join Rabbi Cassi for our Havdalah service as we mark the end of Shabbat and usher in the new week. Next Saturday evening, August 28th at 7 p.m., we begin our High Holy Day season with the service of Slichot. Please join us virtually for a discussion on the theme of forgiveness during our contemplative Slichot service. And I believe you have to register for that, as it will be community service. And for that, I wish everyone a peaceful Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rivka.
Thank you so much. I invite everyone to stay around, because here is the plus side of all being on Zoom, that we can all go into breakout rooms and just spend some time schmoozing with one another. You haven't eaten yet? That's okay. Bring some food in. And you could just get whisked away, there we go, into rooms where you can enjoy the company of new friends and old ones. I'm going to stop live stream. So everyone on Facebook, it's been lovely being with you. And